All right, welcome back. The objective for this lesson that you need to write down is to be able to multiply and divide decimals. Be able to multiply and divide decimals. So please be taking your Cornell notes, and let's go ahead and get started. All right. Well, it's a little bit different than adding and subtracting decimals. We learned that when you add and subtract decimals, you need to line those up and then fill in the zeros. And multiplying and dividing, it's a little different. So I'm going to give you some steps. You need to write this down. I did not copy them down or write them down myself, but you can copy this, and you have the pause button and you have the rewind, or you can move along on YouTube or wherever you're watching this video. And so even though I speak quickly, you'll be able to see this and hear this and go back if you need to make sure that you have all of these things in your notes. So to multiply decimals, step one is to write the columns vertically lined up with the right side. I'm going to do an example in just a second, but step one is to write the columns vertically lined up with the right side. Step two is to multiply. Go ahead and multiply just like you would whole numbers. Step three would be to count the decimal places in the factors, and then if there's, for example, if you add them up and there's 3 decimal places that you would need to move over, then that's how many you would move from the right to the left in your answer. So let's just do an example here. I have this problem, 5.17 times 7.9. So step one is to write this vertically. I'm just going to write 5.17 times 7.9, and I'm going to multiply this, which is step two. And so 9 times 7 is 63, and 9 times 1 is 9, plus 6 is 15, and 9 times 5 is 45, plus 1 will give me 46. And now I'm going to cancel this out so I don't get confused and do the second part. 7 times 7 is 49. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 4 is 11. And 7 times 5 is 35, plus 1 is 36. And now I'm going to add, just like we would if it was a whole number. Bring down the 3. 5 plus 9 is 14. 1 plus 6 is 7, plus 1 is 8, and 6 plus 4 is 10, and 3 plus 1 is 4. This problem may be familiar to you. Now, step 3 was to count the decimal places in the factor. So here we have 1, 2. You can see those 1, 2 decimal places. I want to just write this 2 over here. And we have 1 to the 10th place, that's 1 decimal place over here, and the total of that would be 3. So I'm going to start here with my decimal, and then I'm going to move to the left, 1, 2, 3, and so my final answer is going to be 40, okay, point, because that's where my decimal is, 1, 2, 3, 8, 4, 3, and that's how we would line up those decimals, or that's how we would account for the decimals in this problem. Let's do one more example. I'm going to do this example. I'll do it over here. Again, you have more space in your notes, so I hope that you'll make this a little neater than I have. We have 0.78 and 3.6. Okay, and I just line those up to the right, so the right side is in a column. I'm going to multiply those together. 6 times 8 is 48. 6 times 7 is 42, plus 4 is 46. And 3 times 8 is 24. And 3 times 7 is 21, plus 2 is 23. And now I will add this up, bring down the 8. This will carry the 1. 4 plus 1 is 5, plus 3 is 8, and this is 2. And now it's coincidence, but again we had 1, 2 decimal places right here, one decimal place right here. This happens to be 3 again. So we'll do 1, 2, and 3. And I'll just show you that way this time. Was it 8? Not really clear. There we go. Okay. So that's how you would multiply decimals. All right, now let's move on to dividing decimals. And I'll give you a few steps for this as we go through the first example, and then I'll do one more after that. So just a little review in vocabulary before we get started. When you have a division problem written in this manner, this is usually called the dividend, and this is the divisor. This would be the divisor, dividend, divisor. So step 1 to solve these dividing decimals is to write the problem in the way that we normally do to solve division problems for handwriting it, and then we put the dividend on the inside and the divisor on the outside. So that would be step 1, to write the problem in this manner. Step 2 will be to count the decimal places on the divisor. So here we have this decimal place, and to make this a whole number, we would need to move it one place to the right. And so if we need to move the divisor one place to the right, then we will also move the dividend one place to the right. And you remember that the answer to a division problem is called the quotient. And so right here between the 9 and the 2, since we move this decimal 1 to the right, that's where our decimal will be in our quotient, in our answer. So that would be step 2. Count the places and move the decimal. Well, step 2 would be to count the number of places. Step 3, I guess, would be to move the same numbers to the right. And then last but not least, we'll solve. So we'll go ahead and do that now. 68 goes into 129. Looks like it almost could go in 2, but not quite. So let's put 1. 1 times 8 is 8. 1 times 6 is 6. If we do this subtraction, 9 minus 8 is 1. And 12 minus 6 is 6. So sure enough, we didn't quite have enough to do that with 2. Let's bring down the 2. Okay. And so how many times does 68 go into 612? Well, I think that's going to be 9 times, let's see, 9 times 8 is 72. 9 times 6 is 54. And 54 plus 7 actually gives us 61. So we're left with 0 as a remainder. And our answer is 1.9. Now you can double check that also with some estimation. We had 12 or 13 approximately, right? Divided by 6, that answer should be around 2. And sure enough, it's 1.9, so I think we did that correctly. Let's try one more. 29.295 divided by 6.51. We have the dividend here and the divisor here. We'll go ahead and write that in a reversed manner with the divisor being on the outside. And here we go. We'll put 2. Don't get that confused. It's not a 1. That's part of the dividend sign. 2, 9.295. All right. Now we have step 2. We need to count the decimal places on the divisor to make this a whole number. So that will be 1, 2 places. So we're going to move this decimal over 1, 2 places, and that's where it's going to go on our quotient. Now, after you do that, you can kind of ignore the other decimals because now we know where it is going to be on our answer. 651 cannot go into 29, cannot go into 292, so we're going to have to go all the way over to here. And let's see, 6 approximately to 29. That's going to be about 4 times. So let's try 4. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 5 is 20. And 4 times 6 is 24, plus that 2 would be 26. Let's subtract this out. 9 minus 4 is 5. 2 minus 0 is 2. 9 minus 6 is 3. And 2 minus 2 is 0. And 651 cannot go into 325, so we'll bring down the 5. Now, 651 into 32.55. I think that's going to go 5 times. Let's see. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 6 is 30, plus that 2 gives us 32. And sure enough, our remainder is 0. And then again, we can check, right, to see if about 30 divided by 6 or so, roughly, right? 30 divided by 6. Yeah, that's about 5, and our answer is 4.5, so that seems reasonable, okay? If we did 30 divided by 6 and our answer was 0.45, that's less than 1, that would not make sense. As well as if we divided approximately 30 by 6 and our answer was 45, that also would not make sense. So that's another way that you can kind of double check to see if you put the decimal in the right spot. So that's how you multiply and divide decimals. And so I guess for our summary, your summary for multiplying decimals could be this. When multiplying decimals, first do the multiplication, and then when you add up the decimal places and the factors, that's how many decimal places should be in the product. So that could be your kind of like your summary for the multiplying decimals, and your summary for dividing decimals could just be you need to move the decimals in the dividend to the right the same number of decimal places you had to move the divisor to the right in order to get a whole number. So again, if you want to find a simpler way to say that, you can, but that's the video for today, and thank you again for watching.